Hello, I'm Aisling. This video is for people that are new to woven wrapping, that maybe have used a stretchy wrap before and are just starting out using wovens to wrap their baby. You'll notice that using a stretchy wrap and using a woven wrap are very different. With a stretchy wrap, you can just go ahead and pre-tie it and pop baby in, and it doesn't really require much fiddling with or tightening after the fact. With a woven wrap, it's a little different. A lot of the times you're going to be wrapping your baby while baby is on you, and it will require a lot more tightening and a lot more work to get your carry snug, but it's definitely worth it. So first I'm going to talk about some wrap terminology that you might not be familiar with, that we don't really use with stretchy wraps. My wrap is a size 6. That's my base size. So when someone refers to your base size, it's usually the size that you can do a front wrap cross carry with, and that's usually the carry that you'll start with when you begin using a woven wrap. It's a great carry to learn how to tighten with. It's easy, and that's where I would recommend that anyone start. So here's my woven wrap, a size 6. We'll talk about a few parts of the wrap. The center of the wrap is marked with a little tag. That's called the middle marker, so we always know where the center is. Along the long side of the wrap, a lot of the time we'll refer to a rail, and so the rails are the top and bottom edges of the wrap. So we say tighten the top rail, we're tightening the top edge or the bottom edge of the wrap. Let's see. The ends of the wrap are cut in a triangular shape, and that's what we call the taper. So when we say tying in the tapers, it means that we don't have much wrap left, and we're tying in the very end of the wrap. A couple of more terms that we use to talk about the directionality of the wrap would be warp-wise and weft-wise, and these are weaving terms. So the warp of the wrap are the threads that are going in this direction. The weft of the wrap is the threads that are going in this direction, so in the short direction. Sometimes we talk about tails. So that's any part of the wrap, either end of the wrap that's hanging down while you're wrapping it on your body. So we'll say right tail, left tail, etc. So I'm going to go over a front wrap cross carry and some tips on how to tighten it and do strand by strand tightening, and some other stuff that you might not be doing with your stretchy wrap that you'll probably need to work on as you learn to wrap with a woven wrap. So for a front wrap cross carry, take my middle marker. I center it on my body. It's very important with a woven that you don't cross or twist as you're going across your body. If I twist it like this, I'm going to have a really hard time figuring out which rail I'm supposed to be pulling to tighten which area of the wrap. So go ahead and cross across my back. With the stretchy, you're going to have it tight across your body before you put baby in. With the woven, you're going to need to leave just enough room to make sure that you have space to get baby in. So I go ahead and take my baby. I lower her down into the wrap. Okay, and now I'm going to form a seat. So it's important that with the seat is what gives our baby lift. It's very important when you get into back carries that you have a nice secure seat. It's going to help lift baby up onto your back. So it's a good rule of thumb to use about 1/3 of the width of the wrap to make up your seat, depending on the size of your baby. So I'm going to go about up to here to make up my seat. I'm going to make sure it's well up under baby's bottom, and then I can feel it between the two of us. So I can feel it. It's up against baby's tummy, up against my tummy. Sometimes you'll hear people talking about your seat being knee to knee. So we want each edge of the seat on each side to be going as far as baby's knee pit, is what we call it, right around the back of their knee. So you don't want it to be too narrow. You don't want it to be like so, all the way out to their feet. It's ideal if it's going to be hitting right at their knee pit. Okay, so I tuck that up under baby. And now to talk about tightening. So what I'm going to do here is hold baby secure with one hand, and I'm going to tighten strand by strand. And what that means is I'm going to start with just the top edge. I definitely don't want to pull it all at once. I want to do strand by strand tightening, and that's going to get it nice and secure. So I start with this top edge and pull it, and you see it's tightening right along here. And then I'm going to move just a little bit over, tighten, move just a little further over, and tighten, and move just a little further over, and tighten, and go to the back edge and tighten, and it'll lift up baby's knee right here. Okay. You don't want to tighten so much that in the center of the wrap, so that you're compressing baby's bottom and making their legs go straight. That's going to help pop their bottom out of the wrap. So you want to make sure you keep a nice curve along your back so that they keep their seat. Okay, so that means that we don't want them lifting their legs up and coming out of that seat. When I'm not using a tail, if I want to help keep it nice and tight, I can either stand on it, I can put it in between my knees. When you get into carrying on your back, sometimes people tuck it in their chin as well. So I'm going to strand by strand tighten the other side, starting with the top rail, and that's going to correspond to this top rail along baby. Nice and snug. Move over a little, nice and snug. And over a little bit more. Okay? I'm going to also talk about a couple of different types of passes that we use. And a pass refers to the way that the wrap goes across baby and across your body. So this pass right here, that's extending from one underneath my armpit, across baby's body, and underneath my other armpit, is referred to as a wrap pass. Okay, the next pass that we're going to go over is called a cross pass. And a cross pass is going to originate at my shoulder. It's going to go across baby's body, and it can either be spread across baby's body or it can be bunched. For the purposes of this, I'm going to spread our wrap pass or our cross pass. It's going to go across baby's body, and it's going to go under their leg. Okay. Another pass that we sometimes refer to is a rebozo pass. So a rebozo pass, unlike a cross pass, it's going to go across baby's body, and instead of going under baby's leg, it's going to go over the top of baby's leg. Making sure that it's going from knee pit to knee pit. So that would be a rebozo pass. Okay, so we're doing a front wrap cross carry here, so I'll go ahead and do another cross pass. Okay, and with the front wrap cross carry, your cross passes can be spread like this across baby, or we can bunch them alongside baby here. Okay. Now we're going to talk about tying knots. When you get into more advanced carries and back carries, sometimes you don't tie knots, sometimes you can do knotless finishes, you can use rings to do finishes, but at first we're going to do all of our finishes with knots. We always want to do a full or square knot. A lot of the time I hear people saying, I don't know how to do a square knot, my square knots are not turning out right. It doesn't matter so much as long as you tie it twice, okay? Just make sure you're not leaving that 1/2 knot and you're tying it twice. If it's not a perfect square knot, as long as it's secure, that's really what matters. Okay, so there's a square knot. A square knot goes over, under, and under, over. If over time and after wearing your baby for a little while, you find that these cross passes on the outside are getting a little loose, a little trick that I like to do is to flip the shoulders, and that's going to help tighten up these outside cross passes and help pull your baby in and support your baby a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the slack out. And pulling the slack out just means I'm going to pull on the extra fabric and make sure that there's no loose fabric. And then I'm going to take the edge, the top rail, and I'm going to flip it over my shoulder. Make sure it's nice and spread over baby. And that's going to tighten up this top rail as it goes across baby's back. Okay, and I'll go ahead and do the same on the other shoulder. Pull out the slack. Flip the top rail over. And make sure it's nice and high across baby's back.